The House of Silence. I don't know if I should be telling this, but I will. Maybe if someone listens, at least they'll believe me. It's strange, because I had never believed in anything I couldn't see with my own eyes. But what I experienced that can't be explained any other way. I'm here in my old apartment, writing these words, but I know that somewhere in some dark corner, something is watching me. It all began a few weeks ago when my friend Juan told me about a house he had found on the outskirts of the city. An old, dilapidated house, but surprisingly intact on the inside. He said he was looking for something special there, something rare that someone had told him about, but he couldn't give me any details. As usual, my curiosity pushed me to go with him. It was a secluded place, dark, filled with dead trees whispering in the wind. And when we arrived, the house gave me a strange feeling. The wooden door was slightly open, as if someone was inviting us to enter, but there was no light, no sign of life. Juan insisted we go inside. It's just an old building. Nothing to fear, he said. Even though something told me that something wasn't right, I agreed. As soon as we crossed the threshold, a cold sensation ran through my body. A cold that didn't come from the temperature, but from the atmosphere itself, as if the house were filled with dense air, with a silence so deep it hurt. We walked down a long, dark hallway where the walls were covered in mold and dust, and the floor creaked with every step. At first, I didn't notice anything strange, but soon I started to hear sounds. A whisper, very low, as if it was coming from inside the walls. I thought it was my mind playing tricks, but then Juan heard it too. We looked at each other, nervous. The sound grew louder. And what was worse wasn't just a whisper, but the fact that the voices seemed to be talking about us. Come further and come see what you should never have seen. Juan was excited, as he always was with these kinds of things, but I felt an increasing pressure on my chest, as if someone was watching me, waiting for me. Still, we kept going. Finally, we reached a room at the end of the hallway. The door was locked with a thick, rusted chain, but the door opened by itself as we approached. In the center of the room was a large, cold fireplace, and next to it, an old chair with what seemed to be a rag doll hanging from one of its arms. What froze my blood was what was on the floor, right in front of the chair, a perfect circle drawn with white chalk. It was as if someone had traced a symbol on the floor, but it wasn't a common symbol. I couldn't understand what it was, but my stomach churned immediately. Juan didn't say anything. He seemed hypnotized by the doll. I tried to speak, but I couldn't. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and the voices began to scream, but not just from the walls. Now they came from the fireplace. Something was inside. Something was trying to get out. And then it happened. A hand reached out from the darkness of the fireplace. Thin, like a skeleton, with long, bony fingers. I froze, but before I could do anything, Juan touched it. And that's when everything changed. The lights went out completely, and the room was plunged into total darkness. Then, I felt a pressure on my body. It wasn't just the dense air, no. It was something tangible, something that pressed on me from all sides, as if I were being crushed by the walls themselves. Juan's scream was the last thing I heard before losing consciousness. I woke up hours later, alone. I wasn't in the house. I was in my apartment, but something was strange. The walls seemed closer, the air denser. I stood up, looking around the room, and then I saw it. The doll. It was on my table, right in front of me, staring with its empty eyes. How had it gotten there? I couldn't move. I felt a presence, something I couldn't see, but that was right behind me. And then I heard it. The circle is complete. The whisper came from where the doll was, but it wasn't its voice. It was a dragged, raspy voice, as if the walls of the house were speaking to me now. I looked out the window, but it was already night. I closed my eyes, breathed deeply, and tried to calm myself, until I heard the knock on the door. Soft knocks, but insistent. And then a voice from outside, "Let me in." I know what I saw. I know what I heard. But the scariest part of all is that after that night, I began to see strange things more and more often. Shadows at the corners of my vision, whispers when I'm alone, and the feeling that someone is watching me, even though no one is near. And the doll, it keeps appearing. It's no longer on the table. Now I find it on the couch in the bathroom, in my bed. And every time I look at it, a smile seems to form on its ragged face, bigger, more macabre. I think one is gone. Or if he's still here, it's not him. I don't know what now inhabits my house, but I know I'm not alone. If you read this, if you ever find that house, please stay away. Don't go in. Don't make the same mistake I did. Because it's not just the house that traps you. It's what's waiting inside. And once it enters, it doesn't leave.